Naam, welcome to Mel's Magic Official. I'm Magic Mel, and Charles is in the waiting room. Now it's been like months and months and months that I haven't come online. So much has happened, and as usual, I kept on bookmarking when something I thought was worth talking about happened, but then the bookmark never got revealed, i.e., I never actually pressed the record button. So I'm like, you know what? Just get online again and press the record button and talk. Doesn't matter if you got a bloody mattress in the background and if it doesn't look all polished. So can we just do it? So here we are. I hope you're well. I'm good. It's Easter here. And while the Spanish are out doing their celebrations, I thought, okay, I want to retrieve and talk about an important topic. Something that I've processed very recently and that might resonate for you, because as you know, we rarely go through things in isolation, i.e., if one of us goes through something in this ascension process, there's probably a whole bunch of us because we cluster up in like soul families, no? So going straight to the point, if you, especially with the last full moon, have experienced a kind of recurring situation arise, or let's put it this way, an opportunity for you to revisit, for one, your trust in your intuition, your gut feeling, the notorious gut feeling. Number two, how you actually want to feel in a romantic connection, what you really desire, refining that. And three, the notion of wholeness, this notion that, and I know it sucks when we hear it, no, nothing lies outside of you, but really taking situations in a sense that, or from a perspective that, or from the awareness of knowing that we are creating a situation, we are contributing to a situation, we are attracting a certain situation. So those are the three main points. And I want to talk about a romantic relationship specifically because, as you know, it is the relationships that most bring out a raw reflection of us, no? Because in this intimacy usually brings out our shadows, our fears, our desires, our hidden aspects. So they are our most triggering and truthful and evolutionary mirrors, no, romantic relationships. So if you've recently gone through one, you're like, oh my God, it was confusing for one, it was triggering, and yeah, you had this opportunity to reflect on yourself, or what is it that I really want, or am I trusting myself in this situation? Then this episode is for you. So I'll share with you the notion of the one, no? That is kind of notorious as well. When are you going to meet the one? Who is your one soulmate? You know, as we evolve, we attract other souls, other soulmates from our current frequency. So whoever you are attracting right now is the perfect soulmate for who you are at this very moment, at your current frequency or your frequential makeup. No, it's usually not just one thing. It might be light, different mixes of shadows, and all of that jazz. So there's not the one and only. There's only the one that reflects you in your current state of awareness or current state of consciousness or current frequential makeup. Yeah. So I already let go of meeting the ultimate one because the one is actually you. You are the one creating the reflection in the other. Yeah. So that also puts the power back to us because as we refine, as we realign, then the mirroring will be different. The person might be different. I'm not saying, I'm not condoning here or celebrating, okay, just have lots of soulmates. It doesn't have to be like that. But I do, in my own experience, recognize now that there are several soulmates for every evolutionary step. And as you know, this ascension process is pretty damn fast at the moment. It's like on the gas pedal, the universe. So things might be shifting very fast. You might be in one situation, then not long after feeling, I've maybe taken the lesson out of it. I've reclaimed a part of myself. thanks to the other person, but I'm ready to move on. Have you recently been in a situation where you were in a romantic situation and it did bring you something? It definitely helped you regain maybe part of your sensuality or your repressed sexuality or your confidence in yourself or just passion or vitality in general, no? Because passion, sexuality is vitality. If yes, again, this one is for you. So I've recently gone through something where I always see things as a gift. No, it was definitely a gift, a shared experience. But I then quickly noticed my intuition quickly nudged me to move on. But me, curious and trying to wait things out or see how things would develop, stayed. And the experience was such that my intuition, my gut feeling got so obnoxious, so like relentless, so gnawing that it was a choice of either the situation draining me more or me choosing myself, honoring what I deep down knew, but my mind didn't want to accept. It's this notion of, yes, but, yeah, but the person is great, or yeah, but on paper everything looks good. Yes, there's all these justifications we go through. But my lesson out of this was basically, had I listened to that initial nudge of my intuition, or your being either goes like this when it's attracted, or it retrieves when something feels off. So there's one instant where I felt this kind of retraction, but I didn't trust it. I thought, yeah, it's okay. I rationalized it away. But now looking back on the whole development of the situation, I'm like, that was the key point. That was the moment where I could have just acknowledged the intuition and bowed out. But no, I stayed, and it got more complicated and more draining and so on, and more painful. So the invitation is to trust ourselves in the moment, in the knowing, in the immediate sensing that something is off. And it sounds so simple, doesn't it? It sounds almost too simple, because we're like, can it be that simple? Yes. Can we learn how to flow with life and really detach and stay? By detaching, I don't mean not caring, but I mean realigning to our own truth barometer in such a way that we flow effortlessly and painlessly through situations. And not attaching out of codependency or out of fear, because at the root of codependency is fear, no? Because we're essentially trying to extricate something out of the other person that we are missing in ourselves, be it validation or self-worth or confidence or whatever. We project it onto the other person and I'm thinking, no, but this is the person, only he, she can give me that. And that's when it becomes so painful. So what I'm learning is to stay true to that alignment in the moment, to save myself a lot of suffering. And I invite you to do the same. And to recognize that the soulmate, yes, is the soulmate right in front of you. But for how long, only your alignment, your own soul's flow will tell. We got to accept that, unless we want to suffer. And I realize also that grounding myself in this higher perspective or deeper connection with the higher power, knowing that there's more, that just not just this 3D plane, but really that there is a divine purpose, helps me so much in letting go. And letting go does not mean giving up. It means surrendering to the flow. The flow is taking you somewhere, no? Rather than resisting and attaching and clinging and coercing and forcing, and that's not flow. So I invite you to really anchor yourself to your own connection. First of all, to your sovereignty, your own inner alignment, your intuition. And that intuition is your higher self, i.e. God, the universe, the divine, speaking through that connection to your soul, speaking to you, like, direct line. Can you nurture that? Can you trust that? And can you make that your primary source of direction, regardless of the truth of the other person? Because the other person might have a very strong sense of truth, and that might override your truth. It might make you question yourself. Like, am I making the right decision? Maybe he, she is right. They. Go back to yourself, inner sovereignty, inner alignment. Only you know your true north, your inner compass, your being, literally your gut feeling. Your body will sense things. Can you trust that? Without going back up into the head, justifying, conceptualizing, rationalizing, making excuses and stories. The fear speaking, maybe I will never meet anyone as good again. Maybe I'll never have as good sex again ever. You know, there's all fear, scarcity statements. Can we believe in the abundance of the universe, of our own souls unfolding, and surrender and be open and be okay with uncertainty and not knowing what comes next? That's a big deal because our mind likes to cling onto things, onto certainty, even though that in itself is an illusion. There's no certainty as such, other than your own inner directive, straight connection to the divine. So have you recently gone through this eclipse season and these mega full moons with the invitation to ask yourself, what is draining me? What am I holding on to out of fear? Who am I holding on to out of fear and scarcity? Where am I not honoring myself? Where am I clinging to a rigid notion of the one and denying that you are actually the one, projecting the one outwards? So as you refine and realign, you're going to realign with a new one who will reflect your new alignment. And that is the path of evolution. No? Constant letting go, constant rebirthing, constant metaphorical deaths and rebirth, letting go, letting go. I know it sucks because you're like, does it ever end? No, apparently not. So it's not like we have to chase something and reach out there. We just have to stay in our center, and keep on realigning and shedding what no longer serves us. Constant practice. So you might say, yeah, Magic Mel, full moon is already over. It doesn't matter. Are you still dragging 20 kilos of extra baggage in your boot, in your car boot? Wondering like, why is this car not driving? It's a full tank. Well, excess luggage. What needs to be released? What is draining you really energetically also? Because you might not even see the other person, but energetically you're enmeshed and entangled and it's dead weight. And if you're not sure, okay, what is the voice of your intuition? What is the voice of your fear? Because I had that, I'm like, what is that gut feeling telling me? Maybe I'm just avoidant. Maybe I'm just, no. Your gut is screaming at you that there's something, we don't quite know what, but there's something off, something that's not aligned, something that doesn't feel good. And that basta, that is enough of an indication to move on, to let go. So converse with your gut if it's like gnawing and anxious in a certain situation, and be brave enough to face the truth. What are you denying here? What are you rationalizing away? Where are you projecting fantasy? Where are you not seeing the red flags? Right here, right now, which is all that counts, no? Right here, right now, what is the dead weight that you're still dragging along? So a bit of a convoluted message here, but I hope something resonates. If not, I wanted to express it at least because it was an important processing. And how do I feel now? Well, it sucked. Because, as empaths also, we feel the pain of another. We don't want to hurt anyone. But you know what? There's a difference between being nice and being kind. What is being kind? It's being truthful. Honoring yourself and the other person. Because if you hold on to something where deep down you know it's no longer serving you, you're harming yourself and the other person. And that's not kind. That's kind of manipulative. And that's coming from scarcity. Not trusting that there's something more aligned. And not trusting that, yes, the difficult decision sucks, but it's the right one. It's not easy, but it's the right one. It's setting you free and it's setting the other person free for their own evolution and for your evolution. And again, you're not responsible for anyone else's process. You're responsible for your own process. So reclaiming your thoughts and reclaiming your mental energy to your own story and what you need and what it is that you require right now to move on, to honor yourself, that is the real question. Yeah. And again, seeing every experience as really a gift every person you come across, every person you share your energy with, but being discerning, knowing when things are no longer serving us, and then being truthful and acting out of compassion with kindness, not aggressiveness, but kindness and clarity to set the other person and yourself free. Because at the end of the day, this is about liberation, no? From illusions, from falsity, from anything that doesn't serve us, yeah? From the shadows, illuminating the shadows with the light of our discernment and wisdom, trusting yourself that you've experienced enough to make the right decision that maybe nobody else understands but you. Can that be enough? Can you simply trust your gut feeling from the get-go and not have it expand and snowball into like a gnawing, what do you call that, ulcer? Honestly. So food for thought. Let me know how you guys are doing. And yes, I shall be back online more often because I'm back to base in Spain. Saludos, Satnam from the headquarters. Stay tuned and subscribe for more. Ciao, bandidos.